Dear students, in this video, I'll be continuing Act 4, Scene 1. I am on page number 118. I have already explained you till page 117 in my previous videos. In previous video, we had read that the Duke has received letter from Bellario that recommended a young learned doctor in the court, and he asked the doctor to be called in, asked the lawyer to be called in the court. Naresa says that he is just close by and he's waiting for your answer to know whether you will use his services or not. On hearing this, Duke says, "With all my heart, some 3 or 4 of you go give him courteous conduct to this place. Meantime, the court shall hear Bellario's letter." So, the Duke says that I welcome him with all my heart. He sends 3 or 4 men from the court to escort him. And in the meantime, he says, I will have Bellario's letter read to the court. And the clerk reads the letter sent by Bellario. "Your Grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter, I am very sick." So the letter is sent by Bellario. He says that the Duke would understand that while he is receiving the letter, while he has received the letter, he is sick. Bellario is sick. So the reason for not coming to the court is Bellario says that he is sick. That is why he had sent another lawyer on his behalf. But in the instant that your messenger came, in loving visitation was with me a young doctor of Rome. His name is Balthazar. He says, however, at the moment your messenger arrived there was with him on a friendly visit. On a loving visitation means on a friendly visit, a doctor had been there at his place, a doctor named Balthazar from Rome had visited him while your messenger came. I acquainted him with the cause in controversy between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. He says, I have informed him about the nature of the case between Jew and Antonio the merchant. We turned over many books together. He says, we have consulted many books together. So what had we read in the letter till now? He said that while you were reading this letter, while you received this letter, I am sick. And he says, when your messenger came to my place, I was having a friendly visit at my place, and a doctor from Rome named Balthazar had visited me, and I have informed him everything regarding the controversy between Jew and Antonio, and we have together consulted many books of law regarding the case only. He is furnished with my opinion. He says he is aware of my opinion about the case, which bettered with his own learning. He says that my opinion, along with his vast knowledge, has bettered. The greatness whereof I cannot enough commend comes with him at my opportunity to fill up your grace request in my stead. So he is saying that Dr. Balthazar is aware of Bellario's opinion, and it has been bettered with his own intelligence. And he says that I cannot, the greatness whereof I cannot commend, enough commend. He says that I cannot commend means praise highly. He says that I do not have adequate words to praise the depth of his knowledge. And then he says, comes with him at my importunity. Importunity means request. He says that he will be visiting you on my request to fill up your grace request in my stead. See, the Duke had requested Dr. Bellario to come to the court to fight against Shylock for Antonio. So since he says I am sick, and while I received the message from your messenger, a friend of mine had visited me. His name is Balthazar. He says that I have informed him regarding the case. We have turned over many books, and he is furnished with my opinion, which is better now with his own learning. And he also praises that he is a great intellectual, and he says, on my request, he has come here to the court because you had requested me to fight for Antonio. So this is what he says in this line. I beseech you, says, I request you, let his lack of years means his young age, be no impediment. Impediment means hindrance, to let him lack a revered estimation. So he's saying that let his young age make you and withhold your highest esteem for him. As per the letter, Valerio has requested Duke that his young age should not be taken as a refusal for him to not fight for Antonio. He's saying that though he looks very young, but he is highly intellectual, and therefore he should not be refused for fighting against Shylock for Antonio. For he says, for I never knew so young body with so old a head. He says that I have never known another young man with a better intelligence and such mature judgment and wisdom. I leave him to your gracious acceptance, whose trial shall better punish his commendation. So he's saying, I request you to accept him and try him, then it will be seen how much better he is than my praise. So he's saying that he is even better than I have praised him. So the letter has praised Dr. Balthazar a lot, but he says that when you will accept him and try him in the court, you will come to know that he is much better than the praise that I have given him. So in the letter, what was mentioned in the letter read in the court, which was sent by Bellario? So the letter read that while the Duke will be reading the letter, while the Duke receives the letter, Dr. Bellario is sick, and he also informs through the letter that while a messenger had come from the court to him, he had a friendly visitation at his place from Dr. Balthazar from Rome, and he says that I have informed him everything regarding the Jew and Antonio's case. And he says, we have consulted many books of law also together, and I have informed him, I have given him my opinion, which is bettered with his learning. And he says that I cannot praise his intelligence enough, and he requests the Duke to give him an opportunity to fight for Antonio in the court. And he says that when he will be given, when the Duke is ready, will readily accept him and try him, then it will be seen that he is much better than his praise for Balthazar. So after reading the letter, the Duke says, after the letter is being read in the court, the Duke says, you hear the learned Bellario, what he writes, and here I take it, is the doctor come. So he says that you heard what the learned Bellario has written. So Bellario has praised Dr. Balthazar a lot. That is why the Duke says that I think I will accept the doctor, Dr. Balthazar. I take it means I accept Dr. Balthazar, and he will fight for Antonio. Is the doctor come? Then he says, has the doctor arrived? Enter Portia, dressed like a doctor of laws. So, Dr. Balthazar is nobody else but Portia disguised as a lawyer. Give me your hand. Come you from old Bellario. So, the Duke asked Portia disguised as a doctor that has she come from Bellario? Portia, I did, my lord. She says, yes, my lord, I have come from Bellario. Duke, you are welcome. Take your place. Are you acquainted with the difference that holds this present question in the court? He says, you are welcome. Take your seat. Then he asks Portia that are you aware of the nature of the dispute that is involved in the present case before the court? Says, are you very much aware about the dispute with which the court is now concerned? Moving on to next page. To this, Portia says, I am informed thoroughly of the cause, which is the merchant here and which the Jew. She says that I am fully acquainted with the case, and then she asks that who's the merchant and who's the Jew because she doesn't recognize them. Duke, Antonio and old Shylock both stand forth. He says, Antonio and Shylock, both of you come forward. He says both of them to come forward. Portia, is your name Shylock? So she's asking Shylock if he is Shylock. Shylock says, Shylock is my name. Portia, of a strange nature is the suit you follow. This is the case you have brought here is strange. Yet in such rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as you do proceed. He says that though your case is very strange, still the Venetian law cannot find a fault with it. Still the law of Venice cannot find a fault in your case. You stand within the danger. Do you not? Then she talks to Antonio and says, you are in danger from him. Are you not? So he says. So Antonio agrees that yes, he says so that I am in danger. Do you confess the bond? Antonio, I do. So she's asking, do you admit having made agreement as per the bond? So Antonio says, yes, I do. Then must the Jew be merciful? Then the Jew, she says, she talks to Shylock. She says, then you must be merciful, no? You should show some mercy. Shylock, on what compulsion must I? Tell me that. She says, on what grounds should I show mercy? Tell me that. So on hearing this, Portia will give a long speech on mercy. And this is very important, and at times you get question from this passage in your exam also. Portia says the quality of mercy is not strained. So she means that quality of mercy cannot be forced. Strain means forced. You cannot compel somebody to show mercy. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. So she compares mercy to gentle rain from heaven that drops from heaven upon the place beneath. So saying it drops freely, it is not out of compulsion. You cannot compel anybody to show mercy. So it is not forced, it is not strained, it drops freely as gentle rain from heaven falls on the earth below. It is twice blessed. It blesses him that gives and him that takes. Says that mercy is a double blessing. It blesses one who shows mercy and one who receives mercy. It's mightiest in the mightiest. He says that it is the greatest quality in the most powerful men. Here mightiest means that it is greatest quality. In the mightiest means in the most powerful people. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. So he's saying that it is a noble quality in a royal king than the crown which he wears. So it is even better suited to a king than the crown he wears. The scepter is the sword. It is a rod. It's not a sword, it's a rod that symbolizes earthly power. So he's saying that the scepter, a rod which the king holds in his hand, symbolizing a royal power, a worldly power. He says that the scepter shows the force of temporal power. Temporal power means earthly power. He says that the scepter, that is the rod which king holds in his hand, symbolizing his power. She says that the scepter is a symbol of the earthly power of a king, the attribute to awe and majesty. He says that it is an attribute, it is a characteristic of king's majesty, of king's power and grandeur. So he's saying that the scepter, that is the symbol of authority and power, shows the force of earthly power and forces fear and terror in the hearts of people. So that is what he says in these lines. I would again repeat whatever Portia has said about mercy on this page. Portia says that mercy cannot be forced. It drops freely as gentle rain from the heaven on the earth below. It is twice blessed. It blesses both one who shows and one who receives the mercy. Then she says that it is mightiest in the mightiest, that means it is greatest quality in the most powerful men. Then she says it becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. He says that it suits a monarch better than the crown suits him. Then she says that the scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute of awe and majesty. He's saying that the scepter, that is the symbol of authority and power, shows the force of earthly power and produces fear and terror in the hearts of the people. Moving on to the next page. Awe means fear and majesty means high dignity, power. Moving on to the next page. Wherein doth sit the dread of fear and fear of the king. So he's saying dread means fear. So she says in this line that the scepter that the king holds in his hand, symbolizing his earthly power, produces what? Dread and fear of kings. That produces fear and terror in the hearts of people for the king. But mercy is above this sceptered sway. So he's saying, but mercy is far above this worldly power that is ruled by men with his scepters. See, a king rules his people by holding the scepter in his hand. That is a symbol of the worldly power, and that is the symbol of his authority on the people. And people, they are forced to obey the rules and regulations that are set by the king because they are afraid. They have fear and terror in their hearts because of the worldly power of the king. But Portia says mercy, it is far away from this worldly power by which that is ruled by men with scepters. He says that mercy is above the sceptered sway. It is above the worldly power. It is enthroned in the hearts of king. Yes, it has deeply seated. It has a deep-rooted place in the hearts of kings. It is the attribute of God, attribute to God himself. It says it's a quality that belongs to God himself. It is a divine quality, according to Portia, because it's seated. It has a place in the hearts of king. And earthly power doth show likes God when mercy seasons justice. So Portia means that a king's earthly power appears to be like power of God when justice is moderated by mercy. So saying that the earthly power doth then show likes God. He says that the earthly power of the king appears to be like the power of God when mercy seasons justice, when justice is moderated by mercy. So if justice is given on grounds of mercy, like in this case, Shylock is asking for justice. If he is little more merciful and justice is given, mixed with mercy, then she says that it is equivalent to the power of, it is just like power of God. So justice and mercy mixed together are like a divine power, divine quality. Therefore, though justice be thy plea, consider this. He says, therefore, you are demanding of strict justice, but you should consider what I am telling you. That if justice is moderated by mercy, it is just a divine power. It's just like a power of God. None of us should see salvation. Portia says, Shylock here, that you are demanding strict justice, but she says that you should consider that if we were to be judged according to the strict justice of God, then none of us would be saved. Says none of us would receive salvation if God is that strict at giving us justice. Even God has mercy when He gives justice. Then she says, and the same prayer that teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. She says here that we all pray to God for mercy, and the same power teaches us to show mercy to others. And the same prayer that teach us all to render. Render means to give in return. He says we should also give in return mercy if we are asking for mercy. Then she says, I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. So he's saying that I have said this to soften the services, the severe justice you are demanding of. But she says still, if you will insist on having justice, this court of Venice will be compelled to give a judgment against the merchant Antonio who's standing there. Says that I have just said all these things about mercy to soften you so that you can change your opinion regarding taking a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. But she says if still you are keen to take your justice, you are keen to take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body, then she says that the court will be compelled to give judgment against Antonio, who's standing there. Shylock, my deeds upon my head. Says, Shylock is not ready to change. He says, I am ready to face the consequences. See what has Portia said above. She said that if you are not being merciful, then if God also starts giving strict justice like you are saying, then none of us in this world will receive salvation. None of us will be saved. Saying, I am ready to face the consequences. Whatever has to happen, let it happen. I crave the law, the penalty, and the forfeit of my bond. He says, I want the law to take its course and grant me the penalty and the forfeiture of the bond, that is a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. Portia, is he not able to discharge money? So she's asking, is he not able to pay the money? Bassanio, yea, here I tender it for him in the court. He says, Bassanio says on hearing this, he says that yes, he is. Says yes, I offer the money in the court. He says, I am offering money in the court. Yeah, twice the sum. He says, I am ready to give twice the original sum, twice 3,000 ducats. If it will not suffice, he says, if they are not sufficient, if twice the payment is not enough, I will be bound to pay 10 times over. So he says, I am even ready to pay 10 times the value, the original sum, that is 3,000 ducats. On forfeit of my hands, my head, my heart. If this will not suffice, it must appear the malaise pierced down the truth. He says, I am even ready to forfeit my hands, my head, my heart. If that is also not sufficient, if that is also not enough, then it appears that Millais is destroying honesty. So Bassanio is ready to even forfeit his own hands, head, and heart to save Antonio. He says if that is not sufficient, then it is crystal clear that ill will is working against honesty, against truth. So Millais means ill will, or you can say desire to harm somebody. So he's saying that in this extract, Bassanio says, I am ready to offer the court twice the original sum. If that is not enough, he says that I am even ready to pay 10 times the amount. Then he says, I would pay the forfeiture with my own heads, hand, and heart. He says, if that is also not sufficient, then it's very clear that Millais bears down the truth. He says that the ill will fails the truth. And I beseech you, rest once the law to your authority. He says, I request you. Rest means here twist in this one occasion. He says, I want you to twist the law a little bit, law of authority. He is requesting the court to modify the strict course of law, to do a great right, do a little wrong. He says you will do a greater justice by committing a small irregularity, by twisting the law a little, by modifying the law a little. You will do a little wrong, but then again it will do a greater right. It will save life of somebody and curb this cruel devil of his will. And it will also deprive this cruel devil, it will deprive Shylock from fulfilling his wish. So what has Bassanio said in this extract? When Portia asked that is the merchant not able to pay the money, then Bassanio says that I am there, I am offering twice the sum. If that is not enough, I'll offer 10 times the sums and sum. And if even that is not enough, then I am here to offer my hands and my head and my heart to pay off the debt. But he says if that is not sufficient, then it's very clear, it must appear that Millais bears down truth. He says that it is very clear that ill will has suppressed the truth. And then says in that case, I request the court, I request the lawyer, I request the duke to twist the law on this one occasion so that a little wrong is done to do a greater right. And this cruel devil is deprived from fulfilling his wish. On hearing this, Portia says, it must not be. Says it cannot happen. We cannot change the course of law. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. He says that, Portia says here that no, there is no power in Venice that can change the working of an established law. The code has to proceed as per the set laws, and no power in Venice can alter the law that are already established. It will be recorded as a precedent, and many an error by the same example will rush into the state. It cannot be. He says, no, this cannot happen. If this happens, if the law is altered, it will be recorded for a precedent. He says that it will be recorded as an example. And many an error. And he says then many in future also many errors might creep into by giving the same example. He says many wrongs could be done in future, taking example of this law, that people in future will also ask to alter the law for their own benefit. So this cannot happen. It will set a wrong example, and many people in future also will rush into the court to seek justice by altering the law of Venice. So this cannot happen at all. Shylock says, a Daniel come to judgment. So Shylock is comparing Portia to a Daniel. Daniel is a Jewish character that is known for his wisdom and judgment. So every time Portia gives a statement in favor of Shylock, he'll start praising her. So she says he compares Portia to Daniel when Portia says that no, the law cannot be altered. because this will set a wrong example. On hearing this, Shylock calls him a Daniel, and he says, "Yeah, a Daniel, a wise young judge. How I do honor thee." He says, "I don't know how much I request you." He says, "You don't know how much I respect you. You are such an intellectual young judge. Portia, I pray you, let me look upon the bond." So Portia says, "I request you, let me have a look on the bond." Here it is, a reverend doctor here. So he calls him a respected doctor. He says, "Here I have that bond." He shows the bond to Portia. "Portia, Shylock, there's thrice thy money offered thee." So Portia reminds Shylock that you are offered 3 times the original sum. Shylock, on hearing this, says, "An oath, an oath. I have an oath in heaven. Shall I lay perjury upon my soul? No, not for Venice." So Shylock says, "No, I have taken an oath, and I cannot commit a sin by breaking an oath that I've already taken, and not for Venice. Not even for the sake of Venice," he says, "I'm not going to break the oath that I've already taken. So that if I do so, then it will be a sin of breaking an oath." "Portia, why this bond is forfeit, and lawfully by this the Jew may claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off nearest the merchant heart." So saying, as per the condition, Portia has read the bond now. She says, as per the conditions mentioned in the bond, the penalty mentioned in the bond is due, and the Jew can claim legally a pound of flesh to be cut from very close to the heart of merchant. So he's very right if he does so. But she says, "Be merciful, take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond." So Portia is requesting again Shylock to be merciful and take 3 times the original sum and bid her tear the bond. On hearing this, Shylock says, "When it is paid according to the tenure, it doth appear you are a worthy judge." So he says, only after it is paid, only after, he says, it cannot be paid by thrice the money of original sum. It can be paid only if I take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. He says, when it is paid according to the tenure, according to the bond. He says, according to the actual wording mentioned in the bond, taking a pound of flesh from near the heart of merchant. He says, when it is paid according to the bond, it doth appear you are a worthy judge. You know the law. She says that you seem to be impartial judge, knowing the law, and your exposition hath been most sound. He says that your understanding of the case has been very sound. You seem to be an impartial judge, and you know the law, and you are applying it efficiently. He says, I charge you by the law. He says that I request you in the name of legal system. Moving on to next page. Whereof you are a well-deserving pillar. So he is again praising Portia. He calls him a well-deserving pillar. He calls him, support to the law. He's a very, he says that you are a good lawyer and you are an impartial judge and you know how to apply the law efficiently. So he says that I request you in the name of legal system, of which you are a worthy member. You are a well-deserving pillar. You are a worthy member of this legal system. Proceed to judgment. He says, I request you to pass a judgment. By my soul, I swear there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me. I stay here on my bond. He says, I swear by my soul that nothing, no man can change, can say anything that would change my mind. So he says, I'm not going to change my mind in any case. There's no power in the tongue of a man to alter me. So he says, I am here to take a pound of flesh, and I am here on strict terms of the bond. Antonio, most heartily I do beseech the court to give the judgment. So Antonio says, I wholeheartedly request the court to pass the judgment. Portia, why then, thus it is, you must prepare your bosom for his knife. He says, okay, if you are prepared, then prepare your chest to be cut off by the knife. Shylock again calls him a noble judge. Oh, excellent young man. He again praises him by saying him a noble judge and an excellent young man. Portia, for the intent and purpose of law hath full relation to the penalty which here appeareth due upon the bond. So Portia says, well then, be it so. You must, he says, Portia says, Antonio, that you must prepare your chest for a pound of flesh to be cut from there. And Shylock praises Portia for that. And Portia says that the meaning and scope of law fully applies to such a penalty as it is mentioned in the bond. He says, for the intent and purpose of the law. He says the meaning and scope of the law hath full relation to the penalty. He says fully applies to the penalty. He says you are very right as per the scope and meaning of law, and you can proceed. You can take a pound of flesh and it fully applies. He says the meaning and scope of the law fully applies to such a penalty as per the agreement. So she's just saying, in other words, that as per the law, you are right at taking a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. Shylock, it's very true, O wise upright judge. How much more eldered art thou than your looks. Again, he has started praising Portia. So whenever Portia gives a statement in favor of Shylock, he starts praising Portia. He says, you are a very wise and upright judge. You look much mature and elder than your looks. Portia, therefore lay bare your bosom. So she again asks Shylock to lay bare his chest so that a pound of flesh could be cut from there. Shylock, his chest, so says the bond. Doth it not, noble judge, nearest the heart? Those are the very words. So he again says, Portia, that saying that yes, you are right when you say Antonio to uncover his chest. He says yes, his chest. That is what the bond says, does it not, noble judge? He is asking Portia. Nearest the heart. He repeats the exact words from the bond. He says those are the exact words, nearest the heart. And that is why Portia is telling Antonio to uncover his chest so that a pound of flesh should be cut from near his heart. Portia, it is so. Portia agrees. She says, yes, you can cut a pound of flesh from very near, close to his heart. Are there balance here to weigh the flesh? So then she asks, do we have weighing machine here to weigh that exactly a pound of flesh has been cut from his body? Shylock says, I have them ready. Portia, on hearing this, says, have by some surgeon, Shylock, on your charge to stop his wounds, lest he do bleed to death. So on hearing this, she says, arrange for a doctor to be present here at your own expense, because otherwise he would bleed to death. Bleeding would not stop. Somebody should be there, a surgeon should be there to stop his wounds, to stop him bleeding. Otherwise he will bleed to death. Otherwise he will die if a surgeon is not there. So I have completed this scene till page number 122. I will continue the rest in next video. I hope it's clear. If anything is not clear, do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much.